Tell us, first of all, why did you write this book? What was the purpose?
I've waitressed at the Caddy Shack, which is a strip bar in Maple Ridge, for over 18 years, and I've always had this need to defend this industry because people think it's seedy and dirty, and whenever people ask me, where do I work? I work at the Caddy Shack. I'm always, strictly waitressing. I don't strip.
I was going to say, I'm sure you get asked all the time whether you were one of the dancers or whether you just work there.
Just work there, just waitress, sling beer, pull, that's about it.
So you got to get to know a lot of these girls as well, which is interesting because, as a guy who's been in strip bars before, obviously you don't have a lot of conversation with the girls that are performing. But there's some great stories there. I mean, and your book really tells a lot of them.
Well, every week we have a new lineup of girls. So it's about 5 girls every week. And actually, I do talk to them a lot.
Yeah, no kidding.
And all of them, almost every single stripper in BC and Alberta probably knows me. So they felt comfortable talking to me. And if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't give me the interview. So.
Are there commonalities? I mean, in the industry with girls and how they get into it and why they get into it?
They obviously love money. They don't mind getting...
Is it really lucrative? Can you make a lot of coin?
Years ago, you could. Now there's a price cap on what they're making. Only because the strip bars are shutting down in the city.
Yeah, we were just talking about that the other day. I mean, Vancouver used to be the quite literal world capital of strip bars. We had more strip bars than any other city in the world almost.
For sure. And now it's just, they're just, I think it has to do with the internet. Probably the economy, the drinking and driving laws are a big issue, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
You need money for taxi, and beer is expensive. Then you got to tip your waitress. You want to tip the dancers on stage, so it costs a lot of money.
Do you have a favorite that came out of this? I mean, are there favorite stories, or do you remove yourself a little bit and just tell the story? But there's got to be a favorite.
There's a lot of favorites. There is tons of dirt in the book. Crooked clubs, psycho boyfriends, porn. Some of the girls got into porn. They talk about that.
I can't imagine dealing with the clubs. I mean, as you mentioned before, and what we were talking about, there were more strip clubs in Vancouver than anywhere else, but I can't imagine some of the stuff that you have to deal with at some of these clubs.
You know what? Even as a waitress, you guys would be amazed at some of the guys I deal with.
You know what it's like? It's like being, in all honesty, you talk to stand-up comedians and strippers, and I bet there would be a lot of commonality in the stories because you travel around, you're working different clubs, you're working different places. Some of the clubs would be great, and I'm sure some of them are complete nightmares.
Oh, yeah, and long hours. A lot of people don't realize there were not waitressing, stripping from Monday to Saturday. They're there all day long because they got to be on stage every few hours, and Sunday is their doing laundry day, traveling day, maybe to the next club in the next province or whatever, right? So.
Was it? It must have been interesting talking to all the girls. I mean, you've included 50 stories in the book, but I'm sure you talked to hundreds of girls. Were some of the stories just too boring for the book? Like they're just kind of.
Yeah. Oh yeah. People are gonna kind of freak out because it's. You got the sad stories because a couple of the girls have actually written out their stories for me, and I was in tears. They were, about porn and, the abuse and, being raped at 5 years old. Yeah. But then you got the boring girls that love to crochet and listen to CNW or whatever.
What do you do?
Friday night, right?
What do you do backstage? I crochet.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought
I'm
was
saying
happening.
at home, right? Like at home.
Very funny. So. You're an Amazon bestseller with this book as well, which I think goes to show that there is a lot of curiosity.
Yes, Amazon.com and .ca.
Very cool, but that's got to be really rewarding for you, right? I mean, to be able to tell these stories on behalf of the girls and sort of have people understand the industry a little bit better.
For sure. And the stereotypes. Everybody thinks that every single girl that's a stripper is a drug addict, alcoholic, sleep around, have daddy issues, been molested. No, it's like if you interviewed 100 DJs or waitresses or mechanics, you're going to have the same thing. Yeah, some people had the daddy issues, been molested. Some people like regular
Yeah.
you know, regular childhood. A lot, and there's about 10
We all
girls.
drink too much. I know that.
Oh, yeah.
That's another reason.
Yeah, I know a lot of
That's
people
all right.
with that problem.
Yeah, that's why you get into doing this business. Well, Romana, thank you so much. How can people find the book?
Amazon.com.ca. There's actually a free ebook on, if you go to my website, www.thelifeofastripper.com, or Google my name, Romana Van Lissum, Romana. And you can get a free ebook, five stories, and they're pretty crazy, and they're not even in the book.
I was going to say, it must be interesting because things that either didn't make the book or things that you can add to the website later, right? As you hear more stories, and as girls now that you've written the book, I'm sure you'll get a lot more stories out of that as well.
Yeah, and Black Bond books. Any Black Bond books in the Lower Mainland, they're carrying it as well. So.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming in. You brought your husband and your daughter with you today as well.
Thank you so much.
It's a family day.
Yes, it is. My little... my cheering squad here.
Awesome. Well, great
Thanks
job.
for having me, you guys.
Well written, great book. It is called, once again, The Life of a Stripper, 50 Exotic Dancers Confessed by Romana Van Lissum.
Okay, final look at traffic. We're going to crash in Surrey. It's involving a flipped semi northbound Scott Road right near the SkyTrain station, blocking the right lane. South Surrey, there's also a collision northbound King George Boulevard. That's just north of the 99 off-ramp southbound there. And a power